All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to start off by giving all praises and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, risking life and livelihood in so doing, especially in these times that we're living in. And shalom to the women, all right, and children who watch and who learn from these lessons, okay? So, just another quick video. There's nothing, I'm not going to make that statement, but things are
mitigated by wearing the right.
Things are looking very interesting now. All right, and I just want to go into some scriptures, man. All right, jump into some scriptures because one thing that the 1948 state, all right, the state that was created in 1948, that calls itself Israel, they have made some great boasts, all right, and I just want to, through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash, go through some scriptures, man. All right. Long story short, so the 1948 state boast. They make a boast of an iron dome, okay? An iron dome which is supposedly impenetrable by attacks such as rocket attacks, I'm guessing plane attacks. So this what would you call it? This system, all right, has been dubbed the Iron Dome. So and the Iron Dome has not stood up to its name, okay? Let me I'm right Salakia right now. When you don't hear me, I don't like to really talk much. Okay, I like to once words, once things come out through the spirit, I get to searching and looking for them. All right, and so that sometimes I might forget what I'm saying for a minute. Okay, but it's just something that I do practice to keep me sharp as well in the spirit. Okay. And focused. All right. So I'll just ask Chat GPT. All right. Now, the first people, all right, that I saw really using this using this Chat GPT, the first people that I personally saw. Okay. Now, people were using it before, but were members of Great Millstone, all right, asking the Chat GPT questions. Those were the first people that I saw doing it. And, now you have commercials where they're asking Chat GPT questions like what the Israelites do. All right. And Chat GPT is helpful. You know, it's helpful searching certain things out. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask Chat GPT about the Iron Dome. Why did it do that? I got to go to something else. Now I'm not subscribed to the Chat GPT. Okay. I have a lot of devices on my phone. Come on, let me. They ask Chat GPT, what is Israel's? Did I spell it right? Iron Dome. Iron Dome. Oh my goodness, I didn't put a 3 what E supposed to be. Okay. Getting a lot older, man. Refined like wine. All right. Okay. What this is? It's searching. Okay. Israel's Iron Dome is a mobile air defense system designed that. All right, Salakia. Air defense system designed to intercept and destroy short-range rockets, artillery. Oh man, artillery! This could even hit artillery shells and mortars fired from distances of 4 to 70 kilometers, approximately 2.5 to 43 miles. Okay. The Iron Dome comprises 3 main components: detection and tracking radar, developed by ELTA Systems. Now some of these systems that you're hearing about, ELTA Systems, and hey, some of you brothers, looking to invest some money here, all right? Hey, quick investments, all right? You maybe would want to invest. They wouldn't let you invest in these things, and after these articles, these things are really going to lose money because they're failing. All right, they're failing now. But this is how Esau operates. His whole war campaign. It goes into the money. That's why the Chat GPT mentioned it. All right, so it's developed by ELTA Systems and all these other systems and companies that that are behind this. People invest in these, and they're making millions. All right, so this was just, hey, we're ignorant on the way that Esau doesn't teach us the way that this economy runs, man. All right, you're stuck working a 9 to 5, okay, and that's why when you hear these Edomites say you buy or you sell when you see blood in the streets. Okay, what do you buy? You or sell? You buy and sell military stocks. Okay, certain stocks, man. When you see it on the news, certain things. This is how this devil, okay, operates. All right. But I'm not trying to make you invest. All right, into anything. All right. We're telling you, you better invest in Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. All right, that's where you better invest. Okay, if you're smart. Okay, for those of you who haven't already invested there. All right. So anyway, detection and tracking radar. Okay, so this is what's a part of this system: battle management and weapon control. Okay. It says the Battle Management and Weapon Control BMC was developed by Impressed Systems. All right. Impressed Systems. All right. The Missile Firing Unit. Each unit contains 20 Tamir interceptor missiles. All right. And so it doesn't say who created this technology. All right. But again, it's all about everything that you're seeing in the media. It's all about money. All right. It's all about money. Okay. And even this, was starting off to be about money. All right. But this thing will spiral out of control. And we're going to get some scriptures to bag it up. All right. So when a rocket is detected, this is the way that it's supposed to work. When a rocket is detected, the system calculates its projected impact point. Okay. If the rocket is determined to threaten a populated area, the BMC commands the launch of a Tamir interceptor to destroy it mid-air. Oh man, this chat thing is tripping. I'm gonna stay logged out. Effectiveness and limitations. The Iron Dome boasts an interception success rate of approximately 90%. So that's very high. Okay? That's very high when you're talking and dealing in terms of things pertaining to humans. Okay? But see, this battle is not pertaining to humans. All right? So this is of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right? And so I'm going to go into some scriptures and see what we can find. All right? All right, let's see. Real quick. Ooh, shit. Okay. Oh, man. Oh. So I typed in the word arrow, okay, because we know according to scriptures and understanding of the scriptures that when the Lord is talking about arrows in the scriptures, he is talking, sometimes they're pertaining to actual arrows, okay, but this is dealing with future prophecy from that time point. All right, those, back then when these prophets were seeing the prophecy and they were speaking of arrows, they were not speaking in terms of the arrows that they were used to seeing, but that's what they were likening the visions to. All right, so when you look and you see these, you look on the screen, all right, and you see the orange glow little circle, all right, in the sky, and it's flying and it's going up. All right. That's what in the ancient times, when they would see wars, or, they would dip an arrow into oil, light it on fire, and then shoot it. Well, that's what they would see on a smaller scale back, during their time periods. Okay. But when they saw the vision, they were actually seeing these rockets. But the only way that they could describe the rockets during that time, all right, were what was by what they had already known at that time was arrows. So that carried on, okay? So this is Psalms 7 and 13. It says, he hath prepared for him the instruments of death. Okay. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors. Oh, that is nasty. All right. So real quick, I'm going to, check this out in the NLT, see what it says in the NLT version. All right. Okay. Psalms 7 and 13 in the NLT says, he will prepare his deadly weapons and shoot his flaming arrows. All right. And so this is, when you see that these missiles have gotten through the Iron Dome, a lot of times some of these missiles, as they would tell you, are junk. All right, a lot of them are junk. All right, just missiles that they're shooting to try and trigger the Iron Dome to fire, and what you would call like a decoy. All right, a lot of those will be decoys. That's why, in terms of a strategy, against such a system as an Iron Dome, I would think that you would conduct, because anything that man makes has a great level of error. Okay, has a great level of error. So you have to always keep that in mind, because it's not made of the Most High. It's made and created by man. Okay, now it will work. Okay, but it has a high error of a high percentage of error that it will not work. Okay, and and ultimately that's because it's not created by the Most High, and the Most High, whatever the Most High says will take place or wants to happen, is going to happen. All right, and so Iran is not going to at this moment annihilate the Israelis. All right, the 1948 state, they're not going to do it at this moment. But okay, the Lord is is showing showing the world that, look, this is it for you. Okay, Esau, time is up. Okay, time is up. Your time is up, man. Okay, now these even junk, if you could call them junk, but you can't really, but these I don't know what to call them. They're not as advanced as some of their other missiles. So you would basically what would you call them, outdated or old. So even the outdated and old missiles, they're going to get through this Iron Dome and hit a target. Okay, and some of the targets that we've seen were hit were very very high targets. All right, Psalms 7 and 15 says, they dig. Wait a minute. Okay, I jumped up. All right. It says, this is verse 14. It says, the wicked. Okay, it's talking about the Edomites. All right, the wicked. All right, the wicked conceive evil. So they went ahead and attacked. All right, Iran. All right, thinking that whatever they were thinking, okay? But they were wrong, okay? Their thinking was flawed, okay? So this is, you have to see, that this is of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, okay? So it says, the wicked conceive evil. They are pregnant with trouble and give birth to lies. So that's all that this devil does, man. So, I'm going to use this scripture for another lesson that I got planned. That's the spirit. I'll bring that out. But that is Esau, Edom in a nutshell. Okay? That's what he does. The scripture says, as soon as they be born, they begin speaking lies, roughly paraphrasing the scriptures, all right? So as soon as they come into power and become a unit, they start telling lies, all right? That's Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. That's his M.O., okay? All of the trouble and, when I think, and growing up, even now, okay, if you watch some of those pranks, let me pull one up real quick. Salakia, I gotta do it.
Muslim terrorist prank.
All right, so, I used to be scared, okay? I used to be completely afraid of Muslim people, all right? I would be utterly afraid of them growing up, okay? People who look like, the people that wear the robes, I would be terrified when I saw them, all right? Not having any understanding, okay? Not having any understanding, okay? But see, it's because of Esau, man. Just type in, look. See, now that would be me. See? And I would say automatically, okay? Look, that guy was so scared he started throwing up, man. Because you've heard on the news. Uh-oh. That went straight to something else. All right, that's the Apostles video. Okay, 1 second, okay? So, that guy, he was so afraid, man. It scared him so bad that he threw up. Because these are the lies. This is how bad this devil has lied to us, man. Okay? And confused us in the world. This is serious. And you people come out and you make videos talking trash, talking about the Hebrew Israelites. And you are in great shit. You're in great shit, man. You're in great deception. Okay? Now they'll pull up they'll pull up certain incidents, like maybe someone kidnapped the airplane or something, would hijacked the airplane, all right, and landed it somewhere, okay? They'll bring up certain incidents like that, which we don't really know that who those characters are, man. But we know for a fact, as in the case with the 1948 state, what they did with the cell phone. Now we, as in this truth, man, you brothers have to be leery, okay, of the devices that you use, okay? The technology that you bring into your home. People who, do work, you might have a vehicle or something, and and your women, okay? The woman, you don't know, these people are able to get, it's the devil, This man is the devil, okay? So this is how they operate, okay? This is how they operate. You know, we saw the 1948 state, the J-Man, you know, he had the ability to put these you know, make the cell phone a weapon. He weaponized these cell phones for, I believe it was Hamas, okay? One of those groups. And, you know, he was able to do it. And so you have to think like, well, damn, you know, if he's looking for peace, he can't be looking for peace in the world, because everything that he's done, everything that he makes is something for destruction, something that results in death. So think about that when you think about your health, okay? What they're putting into your food, what they're putting into your water. We're seeing animals die, and, you know, you have to think about things like this, all right? When you see these people, they're putting a lot into death. And so, you know, when you read things and see things like the Georgia Guidestones, and their plan on wiping out billions of people globally. All right, that was actually something that was written on the Georgia Guidestones. All right, which that goes back to the Masonic, these Masonic temples, and you got these people running around and they're Masons all over the country. All right, and they're they say, oh, we're innocent. Okay, we're just Masons. We build buildings, but yet and still, you have a mentality among people in the world, and especially here, of do as thou wilt. Okay, Aleister Crowley, do as thou wilt. And that's the mentality of people today, man. From me first coming into the truth and crossing that barrier and looking at things now, it's like, man, okay, some things things have gotten even worse. You would think that us teaching this word, spreading this message, things, people and humanity would have gotten better. Okay? Understanding that the Lord is coming. Okay? That's like when you're a child. I liken that to when you're a child and you've done something bad, and someone says, I'm telling your mom, or I'm telling your dad. All right? And they on their way. Okay, so you straighten. You got to. You got to make shit better than it was ever before. You got to. You fucking making breakfast. Okay, at night to try to. You want to butter them up, right? When they get home. So you're gonna do whatever this person is told and said you did. You gotta erase all that. All right. So you're making breakfast with, cereal and pancakes. You fuck it up because you're a little child, but no, these, these people, okay, they were like, fuck it, and getting worse and worse. And we've told them that the Lord is coming. So, hey, it makes no sense for us to stress ourselves out about it anymore, man, because they've been warned. All right, and the warnings will go out until the Lord comes. All right, these warnings are going to go out until the Lord comes, man. Okay, people will distance themselves from you. All right, hey, so be it. Okay? So be it. Here's another, here's a prank. Okay, now, like I said, I used to think that these people that wore this, Muslim outfit, what he has on in the white. Okay, I used to think that these were the scariest people in the world. Okay, when I used to see them, my heart used to automatically get scary because I just automatically always assumed that they had a bomb. All right. See, and everyone else does.
Run.
See, everyone does.
Run. Run.
And see, in Esau, man, Esau's just comfortable with being a hunky. Okay, so their reaction, they think white superiority, white supremacy first. They think, well, they're just gonna do that to the white man. Okay, see, Jake drops every goddamn thing. Okay, it wouldn't matter if he probably wouldn't drop a chicken leg. All right, he wouldn't drop his chicken. Okay, but everything else, Jake would drop and haul ass. All right, shake booty. All right, so Esau, he's a little, that's why you never want to be around Esau, in a downtown area or in a crowded area when something takes place. You never want to be around Esau, and that's a pet peeve. I used to hate jobs where I had to work, downtown Chicago and be around fucking Edomites, man, because, hey, they just, white supremacy just comes out of their pores, man. Okay?
Run.
You see how this nigga just put just threw a book bag by you. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's looking and watching like, because they're comfortable. They're comfortable, man. They do so much wickedness and evil, okay? So let me read some more scriptures, man. Read some more of this scripture. All right, this is the NLT. So they give birth to lies, the so-called white people. So you've learned nothing but lies from them. All right, nothing but lies. So when we come out and try to tell you the truth, you're looking at us crazy. It's because you've learned nothing but lies, and you can't shake them. A lot of Jake don't like, hey, it is what it is to him. All right. So this is Psalm 7:15. It says, they dig a deep pit to trap others. Okay, then fall into it themselves. Okay, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening. All right. Psalm 7:16. The trouble they make for others backfires on them. Okay. And we're seeing that now between Iran and the 1948 state. All right. The trouble that they made now is backfiring. Okay. It's backfiring, and it's ultimately going to backfire for the whole world. Okay. The world, they didn't step up when they should have. All right. The world should have stepped up. Okay, but they didn't. So now you're going to meet in the valley of decision. All right, Jehoshaphat. All right, and Hawashaphat. All right. So the trouble they make for others backfires on them. The violence they plan uh, fails on their falls on their own heads. Okay, and so they've created, these arrows, these missiles. All right, and guess what? Now everyone has them. Okay, and ultimately, that's going to be the way that they're destroyed, man, by ICBM nuclear missiles, and it's going to happen here in America as a whole. America as a whole, okay, because America just sat back and let them do this. All right, Trump just sat back and let them do it. Uh, you know, so obviously they perceive Trump as a weak individual. All right, so they were doing certain things under Biden. All right, but when they take it upon themselves to make moves like this, okay, it's because they see the leadership as being weak. Okay, and so yeah, there's a lot going on. Okay, and they could have, the 1948 state could be the ones behind these protests, these marches, and all of that. Okay, these people are the most powerful people on the planet. Are you crazy? All right. Um. So yeah, man. These people. Uh. That's what they do, man. Create. They set and created those cell phone weapons. All right. And you got to think, man. That's what these people do. All right. That's what they do. You don't see these. You haven't seen the Iranians or what was the Saddam? What was they? They was Iraqs. They was the Iraqs. All right. Um, those other countries. All right. They don't. They're not creating that. You don't see that being used. Okay. You don't see that being used or utilized. All right. They're doing things like kamikaze. They're doing a Sui thing. They're strapping. That was their main thing, strapping on something and then going into a crowded place, being a martyr. Okay, that's what they did. Okay, when worse came to worse, they didn't. They wasn't sitting up day and night thinking of evil and destruction to do to other people, and that's what Esau does. Okay, you got to understand, man. A lot of you people, man, the Lord is pleading with you now through the prophets, and you're not going to get it. Okay, Psalm 7 and 16. The trouble they make for others backfires on them. The violence they plan falls on their own heads. Okay, so the Lord is going to turn those missiles. I've been saying this from the beginning. People are talking about, oh man, they talking about chariots and UFOs. Who cares about UFOs? Who cares about that? You got Jake talking shit, man. They're talking shit about the chariots, about the UFOs. Who cares? Who cares about your identity? You're going to be charbroiled Negro, man. You're going to be charbroiled Negro, man. And that's what you Jakes get, man. A lot of you Jakes, man, you just run your goddamn mouth too much, man. You just shut the fuck up. You know, it was a time when Jake would just, you know, Jake didn't say nothing, man. Okay? You know, Jake don't say nothing when his woman is acting crazy. Okay? Because she's gonna punish his bitch ass, man. You know? Now, you ain't gonna get none. Jake, shut the fuck up. See, once upon a time, you smacked the shit out of Jake, man. You know, when I was growing up, we used to smack Jake, man. We used to like to fight, man. That's why these, you know, and he's, you know, Jake don't, you know, that ain't in Jake's spirit no more to be fighting. You know, they can't take an ass whooping. Okay, so now they want to grab guns, you know, because they fathers are not here. Okay, they lost fathers. You know, the scripture said your sons and daughters should fall by the sword. Okay, so a lot of their fathers and was some weak ass niggas too, man. Ultimately, okay, they fell by the sword, man. So now they're scared to stand up. So what do? Okay, they don't want to fight no more, man. And they're in their youth. They'll fight someone. They'll fight if it's an older man. You know, they know they got to win. Maybe a man in his 70s or 80s or 60s or something, man. Okay. And for the most part, they're gonna go grab a gun and shoot you. All right. Because they are following in the footstep of Esau, the so-called white man. All right. His cowardly ways. Okay, the women, okay, they're destroyed. You know, most of these chicks they'll give you the box first, man. A lot of times, man, they'll just give you some box and then act crazy after they give you the box. Okay, because that's all that they bring to the table. And I was watching a video from the Apostle, about this chick Sierra. Okay, I don't mean to get off of the subject. Russell Wilson's wife. Okay, Russell Wilson's wife. All right, she's all in Jim Jones' face, man, all up in his thing, man. Okay, and Jim Jones' wife, man, she could fight. Okay, I've heard stories about her, man. She's an older woman now, and Sierra, but still, man, Jim Jones' wife is a street chick, man. All right, she's not gonna like that. Okay, and poor Russell Wilson, man. Poor Russell Wilson, man. Your own wife shitting on you, man, and see, man, that's the type of women that's out here, man. So Psalm 7 and 17, I will thank the Lord because he is just. Okay. I will sing praises to the name of the Lord Most High. Yahweh Bahasham. Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. You got Israelite groups telling you, got Israelite groups to tell you to take the jab. 2 major Israelite groups told you to take the jab. All right? That's insane. That is insane. All right, let me go back. Psalms 58 and 7. I could start up higher, but I'm just gonna get right to the point. Long story short, okay. Psalms 58 and 6. Okay, I'll start in between. Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. So you think the Lord is just gonna be down here punching people in the mouth like, come here, nigga, No, the Lord is not gonna, you know. And that's the ridiculousness of the Christian church, man. And that's why Jake has no fear. Okay? Because they don't understand the scriptures. They don't understand they don't understand what's going on in the world around them. Okay? He can't make sense of the world around them. And a lot of Jake, you can't even teach them. You try to teach them, then they off somewhere else, man. All right? Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. All right? Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. All right? And all of these countries are the young lions. All right? Matter of fact, the name of Israel's operation was something. Let me chat GPT that real quick. What was it? The name of their operation had something to do with a lion. Ask anything. What's the name of the Israeli operation lion something? You were probably thinking of Operation Lion's Den, all right? So that's the name of this operation that we're currently watching, all right? It's called Operation Lion's Den, okay? Mitzvah Arya Hashem, all right? This is a military operation conducted by the IDF, all right? The 1948 state. It was launched in 2022. All right. Oh, so no, that's not it. Chat GPT. That was in 2022. The current operation. You must not have been. Got it. You're likely referring to Operation Lion's Den. All right. So again, which is still active and ongoing in 2023. So this is 2025. You know that the name has been used for various operations over time. Okay. Okay, so it's called the Lion's Den and Iron Sword. Okay. So Lion's Den and Iron Sword. So going back to Psalms 8:58 and 6, it says, break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. All right. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. All right. So now, you know, your teeth are getting broken out. Okay. There and ultimately the teeth of America will be getting broke out as well. Let them melt away as waters which run continually. All right, so that's going to be that ultimately that lake of fire. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be as cut in pieces. All right. So when these, you know, when they're shooting their missiles, all right, they're being the Lord is cutting them in pieces, man. We saw a video of a chariot, what the world ignorantly calls a UFO, knocking down missiles. Okay, and the military has footage of it. All right. So that's all that I'm going to do on this lesson right now, since I already went very long. All right. But yeah, man, these are exciting times, brothers and sisters. And don't stress yourself out with Jake. That don't get it. Okay. Um, you're supposed to want them to be confounded. All right, let them be confounded, man. All right, you done your part, your service by by teaching them. All right, by speaking this word in truth and in sincerity. All right, so if they don't get it, don't continue to let it stress you out. A lot of times, even though you want people to get it, they're not going to get it. All right. So with that being said, Lord willing, you edify till next time. Shalom.